On that note, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to game number 1 of tonight's Golden Esports League Met Games. We've got Lucid Lunatics up against what is now Team Freedom, what was previously AI, Artificial Intelligence. They've had some roster issues and they've lost Spix by the looks of things. They've got Flox standing in for them tonight, and as we go into this draft, we see Ember Spirit immediately banned. That makes a bit more sense, as well as Invoker.
Yep, and it really falls down to whether or not these teams are going to try and leave over the Lycan, or they're just going to try and shut that out and try and pick up the Ancient Apparition or the Dazzle or potentially the Centaur.
I should think going for the AA pick will be the most likely candidate since, well, if we go by stats, he's been 100% pick and ban, and, well, with Centaur being taken out, it raises the question of if they let Lycan through, they're in a very bad situation. Lucid are no better than that, not going to let Lycan through. So this should be an AA, or that will leave AA open to Lucid. Then again, draft-wise, from the lineup from Freedom, previously AI, there is a very, very strong combination that we've seen out of them a few times. They're not going to get the Invoker this time round for Henke, but we do like to see a Nyx Assassin from either Anderson or Helvild. Batrider is another pickup commonly by this team. And for Kefka, well, Kefka's mid lane heroes, we've seen Invoker out of him twice. I believe we've also seen, there's the Nyx that we were both probably expecting. For Kefka, it's going to be interesting where he goes mid-wise, because we, for the most part, have seen him, and we're getting a Luna and a Clock once again from Lucid Lunatics. We've seen Kefka play mostly Invoker in the middle. And there's the
I'm
AA.
interested to see what Lucid Lunatics are really focusing with this, because they are potentially, they've passed up so far the Dazzle, the Ancient Apparition for the supports. So clearly they have a plan in mind. You wouldn't tend to try and pick your cores without having some sort of secret strategy, but
10 seconds remaining.
It's really, I'm really interested to see what they want to pull out.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, what would work with a Clockwork and a Luna? You've got a very good positioning control, you've got a good AoE.
Radiant team.
Mid lane wise, would you go for something like a Magnus? Would you go for the Puck for the silence? Would you look for a Queen of Pain for the extra nuke?
Really, there are a lot of options, and it really has to fall down to what supports they want to run up with this. Because Luna and Clockwork are two just very generally strong.
Reserve time.
There is another word.
Let's reboot you, Duke. Let's try that again, shall we?
It's annoying me now because I can't remember the word I was looking for. But either way, two very, very generically. That's where I was going wrong.
You'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time, but two very strong heroes that can really sort of fit into a number of different situations.
Dire team pick.
Well, we do see Mirana banned out, Slark taken out, the Batrider taken away, as well as the Shadow Shaman. This leaves VS being the pickup for Lucid Lunatics. They're going to have an extra stun now, as well as auras, which are slowly starting to stack up. Could we potentially see the Drow out of them once more? We've seen JB's Drow before, and it was with a very similar lineup, and with the exception of there was no Clockwork. I believe they had a Beastmaster instead.
Yeah, just going for that extra bit of aura.
I have a feeling from Lucid we're going to see that Drow. This is a strategy they do love to run. But do Freedom realise this?
Dire team pick.
And I did just get confirmation from admins of what was going on. Spix left his team and there was confusion on whether Spix was in control of their spot in the league or if it belonged to the majority of players. Admins ruled in majority of players. But they only announced this 30 minutes ago in terms of the team lineups, so admins had to think really quickly.
So there was a Drow Ranger, like you predicted, so we are definitely going to see that aura strat coming out of Lucid Lunatics. Also, what I've wanted to see before is the Immorphling AA combo.
Well, it seems you're going to get your wish.
Yeah, you get the Chilling Touch onto the Morphling, you attack once, you waveform through, And because they were changed to waveform, you also get another attack during that time. So you get a lot more attacks than you normally would in this space of time.
Dire team ban.
You attack once, waveform through, get the attack during that, and then you're able to attack again at the other side as you are positioned on the other side of him, and with that really shoddy range that Morphling does have.
Well, we do see the Sand King pick up to go with this, so they have a very,
10 seconds
very
remaining.
strong potential for an aggressive Tri-Morphling, which is a little bit
5
unusual.
seconds remaining.
Then again, it could be Morphling safe with 2 safe lane supports
Reserve
with
time.
the threat of a Tri-Lane coming out of Lucid, but I don't see Lucid running aggro Tri. They're going to look for early gold on the Drow, who's then going to try to take control of the game, and they ban Storm Spirit out,
Radiant
which is
team
completely
ban.
understandable, because if there's one thing Drow hates, it's people who get up in her face.
Def, and if the Drow does go for the build, which we saw last time with the Blink, the Treads, and the Mask of Madness, that BKB is a long
10
shot
seconds
away.
remaining.
And if Morphling gets nice farm, gets that early shotgun, Drow is just
Dire
going
team
to
pick.
die repeatedly, and they won't even need to dedicate more than one hero to killing that Drow. And even if you do dedicate the Morphling to killing that
Radiant
Drow,
team
you just
pick.
send a replicate with the rest of your team. You kill the Drow, and then you replicate back to your team, and then you've got a 5v4 fight, and you can take that in your advantage.
But I do like this pickup coming out of Lucid Lunatics. Combined with all of that aura stack and physical damage, they bring negative armor to the table, and we've seen Blakadder play Dazzle before. He is a phenomenally good Dazzle for the league. But on the flip side of this coin, we did get a Witch Doctor
10
ban
seconds
coming out
remaining.
of Freedom, and it does leave them open for their final pick. And up against this lineup of a
5
lot of range,
seconds remaining.
there are a few heroes that I think would be the choice here. We're looking for maybe a Blink Dagger Initiator.
Reserve time.
And it also runs the question, are they going to play this Nyx Assassin up in mid against a Drow? I've seen JB play the Drow in the mid lane mainly.
I think it's almost impossible to play the Nyx Assassin up against the Drow. To begin with, the Nyx Assassin would have some decent ability to farm, but as soon as Drow got that level 6, there is nothing the Nyx Assassin can do. And if the Drow gets enough denies beforehand, might be able to delay Nyx's level 6 himself, and that's a roaming.
It's going to just come down to, can they stop the Nyx Assassin becoming a crippling factor? If Nyx manages to get that early Vendetta up and pick off the lower HP, squishier support heroes, the Venge, the Dazzle, hell, even Luna before she gets a BKB, Lucid Lunatics are going to have problems. And while Freedom are not one of the highest standing in the league, they still know their stuff. They're certainly thinking about their last pick. They've got 30 seconds of their reserve time remaining now. Personally, I'd be thinking along the lines of, do we get a Nyx off lane and put maybe a Puck in the mid lane who can get up and close with the Drow? But no, it'll be a DK. So I find maybe a risky position here. DK can get kited with early frost arrows.
I think what they're really aiming for is the armor that's going to come out on their cores. You get the 12 armor from the max Dragon's Blood on the DK, and on the Morphling, obviously with an Agi hero, and really primarily going in for the agility and morphing everything into it, you get a lot of armor as well. They might be able to counter. Actually, are we gonna? Do we have a
It
Bassi
is.
ring?
Prepare.
I have a feeling we have a Bassi.
No, I don't think we do. No, we don't.
Normally we've seen Lucid Lunatics do this, go for an early Roshan. Every time we've seen a smoke out of them and head towards the bottom lane, it's been a Roshan. But on the flip side of this coin, let's introduce the players quickly. We've got Twilight on the VS, we've got Kangash Khan on the Luna, Blakadder on the Dazzle, JB, and it is a Roshan without a Bassi, by the way.
Oh,
JB
blimey.
on the Drow, unless it's a complete bait and they're expecting.
I think it's a bait. The thing is, I don't know why they would bait this. Lucid Lunatics, they don't have a tank for this. The
I know.
Clockwork can't tank it. So, like, Freedom are like, no, they can't be doing Roshan. No one can survive it.
Then why would they all position themselves down here? This is a little curious play. We do have finally Filich on that
30
Clockwork.
seconds to
Flip side of
battle.
the coin, though, we've got Henke on the Sand King, we've got Anderson on the AA, Helvild on the Morphling. Over in the mid lane, we've got Kefka on the DK, and finally, in the off lane, Nyx Assassin role, we've got Flox Plox. And Lucid
Yeah,
Lunatics
and Lucid Lunatics were really going for a bait play with that smoke into Roshan, but it really doesn't
If they
avail to
had
anything.
a Beastmaster, maybe. Because that's what they did previously with this lineup. They went for level 1 Roshan with a Beastmaster. And they succeeded. But without a Beastmaster or something that can tank it, maybe with familiars or creeps or something along that line, you cannot really bait a Roshan, because there's no way in hell you're doing Roshan.
Clockwork doesn't, especially with the fact they didn't have a Bassi ring, there was no chance for them.
The Basilisk is such a big factor when it comes to early Roshan. But let's take a quick look around the map. We've got Helville down here on this Morphling. He's going to start out with Morph. He's going to try to get whatever attack damage he can. He's going to just farm his heart out down here on the bottom lane, up against a Clockwork. Now, this could potentially be very dangerous for the Clockwork if the supports can rotate down and get a potential kill on him. But with Helville having Waveform at level 2, which is the more likely the build he's going, he's not going to be able to be ganked by the Clock, which is one very good benefit for the Morphling. Over in the mid lane, we've got quite a bit of harassment getting thrown around. Kefka already being forced to tango up, and now with Kefka and JB facing off, JB in my mind is going to take a very good early advantage. Kefka's going to be able to farm under the tower, sure, but anywhere that's not under the tower, JB is going to be hurling down death in the form of icy cold arrows. And of course, it being an orb, it's not going to aggro any of the creeps, and Kefka's just going to get harassed with no answer to it, unless he can get the occasional Dragon's Breath on target. With Drow's range being 650, that's going to be hard.
You're just looking at how the lane is so far. You're looking at a 6-0 Drow. Like, Kefka he's got 3 denies over JB. JB's really not actually winning this lane as of currently. And now he's got the level on Dragon's Blade, he's got the pull tango, so he already has his bottle coming out. Kefka's put his mark on this lane already, and using that Dragon's Brief Fire, I was thinking Lena then.
Not this time.
I don't really think JB has too much of an advantage in this lane. Like, Kefka's actually just walking under... Oh, that Korea needs to be careful.
Yeah.
One hit. Oh, my God, 6 health.
Got to be very careful with those couriers, especially around a Drow. As I said, range is 650. Can't underestimate that. Finally, up on this top lane, we've got Phlox who's going up against the potentially devastating tri-lane of Twilight, Piscad, and Kangaskhan. He's already been forced back to his tower more than once. I've been keeping an eye on his HP on the top, but he's not really been at any risk of death, and you can see his skill build, he's already got that point up in the Carapace, which is near enough spamming. He just wants to try to get in range of the creeps for experience, but that's not exactly easy when you're up against a VS and a Dazzle, who both have quite large ranges. And on the bottom lane, though, Anderson trying to harass out Village. Now, with Village down here, they really need a combined attack in on this Clockwork if they want to kill him, and they'll equally need to bring in the Sand King to get that initial stun. There is no ward in this vicinity here to guard against a potential rotation in if Village overextends.
I don't think they're too bothered about trying to kill the Clockwork. If you look at the denies that Helvard's been able to pick up, he's sitting at 20 for 13 already. So the Sand King is just able to jungle, and he's already level 3, so he's going to, if he gets enough gold, actually already sitting at 1,000 gold. So he potentially could get a very quick Blink Dagger. And if you're the Drown Ranger, you would be scared right now if this Sand King is trying to get a quick Blink Dagger.
Well, all he's doing in the jungle is just stacking up the camps and then abusing Sandstorm. It's beautiful.
Oh my days, look at the size of this camp.
And it's getting stacked again. I'm not sure it's going to actually succeed in stacking this time around.
Oh, it should.
Oh, it should. That's a good pull.
And this is going to be
Radiant's
a
top
quad
tower is
hard
under
stack
attack.
with Sandstorm. If he's going to stand here,
Radiant structures are
this
fortified.
could actually almost be a Blink Dagger.
Well, equally on the top lane,
That's not good
we've
for the
got Lucid
Radiant.
Lunatics just pushing down the top tower, looking to cement any advantage they can. But the problem with this is any gold they get from these
Radiant's top
towers
tower has fallen. Not
can
so
potentially
radiant
be turned
anymore,
around
it turns out.
when Freedom turn around and start pushing the lanes on their own. Towers are not exactly a solid advantage. Meantime, mid lane, as I almost missed the first blood, Kefka does force out with a DD JB, and JB's actually not doing as well as I thought he would in this lane.
1,800 gold on this Sand King at only 5 minutes.
This is potentially devastating, and I did miss First Blood. They managed to bring down the Nyx Assassin, and they're pushing to tier 2. Piskid finding Floxplox.
Radiant's top tower is under
And now the siege over tier 2, they need a rotation to stop this.
Really all Lucid Lunatics can do right now, but they're just getting out
Radiant's
fast.
top tower is under attack.
Like, that First Blood is literally all that's holding them in this. Meanwhile, Henki is already level 5.
Radiant's
And
top
I
tower
think
is under attack.
after this and
About
stack
time.
and another hard camp, he will hit level 6 at about 6 minutes into the game.
That is
He's already higher
devastatingly
level than
quick.
his carry.
He's going to be a very, very key hero to watch in these next few engagements. A Blink Dagger this early on a Sand King is almost unheard of in
Dire
my
structures
mind.
are fortified. That's what that wispy glow around the tower means.
Yeah, and Kefka's just attacking this tower in the mid lane.
But
If
with
you
Green
just look at
Dragon
the
form
last
up,
hit boards, last hit and chart, it's Morphling, Sand King, DK, and then the Luna and the Drow.
it is slightly deceptive though, because those are all jungle creeps for the Sand King. Some not being worth anywhere near as much, some being worth more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the fact that he's only going for hard camps, it is having quite the impact.
Yeah, he actually almost has a higher net worth than this Drow Ranger. Actually, after this camp, will have more gold than this Drow Ranger.
Well, this is his Blink Dagger finished. This is something that even I want to try out in a pub game. This could be fun.
This is incredible coming out of Henki here.
Well, based
And there's a
on
smoke.
based on the early 6 minutes, where is your money? Where is your rares? Because this
It
is
really has to be.
interesting.
It needs to. It basically is all on what Henki can make with this blank dagger. Fox likely could fall in this top lane.
Yeah, you're going to get stunned out. Carapace to
Poison
try to
stun.
keep him alive. Stun comes through from the VS. The Impale is not enough, and with one Lucent Beam, that's the end of that. TP coming in from AA, but it's too late.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We do have Treads now up for the DK. He's going to be looking to continue to siege this tower. He's got Dragon Form up in
middle tower
15,
is
so
under
this
attack.
could go down should
It
it
has
not
no
be
arms to
attended
defend
to
itself.
by JB. Meantime, bot tier 2 is top tier 2 even for LL is almost down. They've almost picked up a second tower already.
Banking's coming in top.
This is a very big push. Kangaskhan Khan getting stunned out. Do we have the Blink Dagger initiation? No. Surely. Did they check Henki's items? That's the question.
No, they didn't. They don't think it. They can see him. They just need to click on him. But why would you think that a Sand King has it already?
True, but by habit, check people's items
Oh yeah, definitely.
is one of the best things to learn to do.
There's the smoke out, and could be looking on this Drow. It's got the Epi, got the blink. Can make this engagement.
If he finds the Drow, that's going to be a pretty key kill, and Kefka will be here to share in the glory of the wealth and experience that it'll provide.
Regeneration.
And it is a level 8 Drow, so it's going to be giving a fair amount of experience.
But you do have the supports in here as well. They're predicting something that's going to go on, and they're actually doing the smoke up.
Well, I don't know. These supports are both level 4. I mean, surely not Roshanning. They're Roshanning already. This is a very ballsy attempt, and will they actually have the damage to do it? Seems they do so far. And
Yeah,
Drow's
they
got
definitely-
that Morbid Mask, so we're going to be seeing another JB Mask of Madness Drow, I believe. So that
Yes,
is the normal build. For him, at least.
It's actually one of the most beneficial builds for a Drow Ranger, because you get enough damage from your marksmanship, and if you're able to attack like very, very quickly with the frost arrows, it doesn't matter that you don't have much health. You
thought
just
it couldn't be
basically have to
done.
kite around,
Roshan
and
has
now with
fallen
this
to the dire.
Aegis, he can play a lot more aggressively.
And Sand King still hasn't had any impact with this dagger yet. And all it would have took is one of the supports to look at Henki and realize something was amiss here.
I think it literally boils down to they knew they were going to go for that Roshan, so they said, and it was just unfortunate timing for Henki that he was trying to engage them while they were going for that Roshan.
Yes,
But it's a nice
once
levels up for Twillis.
Henki did have smoke available to him. He could have hit that Epi in the Roche Pit if he had any inkling that it was happening, but there was no ward vision over the Roche Pit.
Yeah, they really didn't. They really didn't know that was going to happen.
But there's the blink
Dagger
initiation.
prisoned.
Village does go down. Helville picking up the kill. The Morphling could potentially start getting scary here. And there's a swap for onto Anderson as in comes JB. In comes all the right clicks. The silence is there as well. Henky going to wisely fall back, but does get clipped by a Frost Arrow and a Lucian Beam. Going to be forced to Sandstorm. I don't think he can find anything here. He's going to just blink dagger out.
Being attacked. To you,
Yeah.
my loyalty.
Yeah, he's going to use the flask on
middle
Henky,
tower
and
is
he
under
needs to
attack.
make a big epi right now.
And a big epi is what he can deliver. Here we go. Winds it up. Stun comes through. The Impaler's there. Kangaskhan takes terrible amounts of damage. JB going to go down as well, but Shallowgrave keeps him alive for a few more seconds. Supports are raining in death. Down goes Henky. Flox going to try to find Twilight. Needs to drop one more Impale. If Twilight can dodge it, that's going to be pretty key, but doesn't manage to do so. One right click coming out of Helville, and Morphling picks up the kill. Piscav going to rotate away, but we do have on the back foot Kefka finding a DD rune and has enough mana to Dragon Tail. If he thinks that anyone's falling back this way, no. And we do get a TP away from Piscad. He realizes, can't really walk past a DDDK in Dragon form.
The problem is, JB lived and still has the Aegis up.
Flares here.
Indeed, not only that, now has a finished Mask of Madness.
Yeah, so he's just going to just lifesteal back up.
Not only that, he's going to continue to farm up, maybe even rotate top and look to push that lane in a little bit. But we're going to take a quick moment at the 11-minute mark. We're going to take a quick look at the graphs. There's a 1,000 experience advantage in favour of Team Freedom. And gold-wise, it's about 1,000 in favour of Lucid Lunatics. So it shows what the Sand King has effectively done. He's got many more levels over the supports, and that 1,000 difference is effectively just Henky.
Yeah, and the 1,000 gold advantage is effectively just this top tier 1. Which they did end up, which they were able to take.
Dyer's
Look,
middle tower is all alone in
Village
the
does
world.
get the hook shot
Being
into Gefra in
attacked.
the mid lane, into Dragon Tail, and Village is taking a lot of damage. And the bonus rake.
Must be
With Henky there, it's going to be an easy pickup for the Sand King. A long-range AA ult comes in, does clash with JB. No one to capitalise off that, but they do clear up the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, they really weren't expecting Henky to jump in there with the Bling Dagger. Helvin needs to be careful.
He could potentially go down to a Lucian and a combination from the supports, and the supports are right here. Twilight is looking to rotate in. This ward, however, going to give them coverage if Morphling even rears his head out of those trees. Helville needs support. He can't really afford to do this alone. He's going to TP out, though, after that replica's been formed. So he's going to easily be able to regen up, then come back onto lane with that replica. Plox in the meantime does have those arcane boots up available to him. He's going to be looking to rotate around the map, and I'm expecting to see an early Blink Dagger out of Phlox. It's the more common build in competitive games. We do like to see extra positioning skills, and having the ability to blink on top of the Drow Ranger is going to be a very important thing in this game. Drow's aura gets shut down, her marksmanship gets shut down if someone gets into melee range with her. Glorious thing to abuse with daggers.
The thing that is the big thing about that is the fact that it hinders the damage from everyone else as well.
Now Henky needs to be careful. He's found the supports. The weave goes off, but there's a swap back on Henky. There is a sentry down though, and he's not going to find anything while he's silenced out. But we've got on the back foot of this fight, Kangaskhan getting chased out by Kefka, but with that Drow Ranger with that Mask of Madness activated, she can rain down death. And I believe Lucid Lunatics know that they've already made a profit off this kill. They pick off the Sand King. He was forced to buy back. They're happy with that. They don't really need to do anything else down there. But with Kefka, let's take a look at how he's doing gold-wise right now. He's sat on 500, does have treads as well as those phase. We're looking for possibly a BKB up on him. Then again, the BKB would only really mitigate the magical damage of the Eclipse, which I suppose is more than enough warranted. It'll also stop the stun coming out of VS. Other than that, BKB doesn't really have much impact in this game, as we do get a pick off onto Twilight, getting caught out by the supports up on the top rune spot.
Right now, out of Kefka, I would prefer to see either a Shadow Blade into AC or just rush that AC, get that extra armor, buff up your team, and just basically concentrate on being able to live out, just survive through the fight, just to be able to get Morphling and smacking away at them.
Certainly a viable route, and we do have a regeneration bolt by Kefka. But at this point in, what do we see coming up on the supports? This is the key thing that I want to check. Nyx is really an offlane core in this game, but he does have arcanes. On the AA, we've got boots and wards. On the Sand King, we of course had that very early Blink Dagger, and he's got brown boots as well. He's going to smoke up with the power of Kefka, and potentially see an initiation up past the top rune spot and going for these two on the top lane. JB and Kangaskhan, they would need to
that's not
DDT
good
before they get
for the
caught.
Radiant.
And Kangaskhan looks to be the target of
Radiant
opportunity
structures
here.
are
He's
fortified.
pushed down, he does
Don't
have a
waste time hitting
TP,
them.
but with a Blink Dagger Henki, it's too late. He's dead, he's caught. Kangaskhan will go down to this. Dragon Tail comes in, as well as the Ice Blast from the AA. Sand King picks up the kill. On the flip side of the coin of the items on supports for Lucid Lunatics, up on the Vengeful Spirit, we have wards and a Bacillus. On the Dazzle, we do have items coming up for a Mechanism. And we did see an item pick up by JB on that Drow. He does have his Blink Dagger, which we have come to expect out of him. And here we go, Initiation, going to go in, looking for Helvild. He's silenced out, he's dead.
Killing spree.
But in the meantime, on the backside of this fight, Double Impale coming out of Flox Blocks, and he's being forced to rotate away as quick as possible.
Is under attack. Dire's structures
Excuse me.
are fortified, just like me. Dire's top tower
He'll take
is
a
under
fall as
attack.
well. But
I have to worry
now
about
pressure
this
comes
Blink Dagger for the
into
Drow Ranger.
the bottom tier 1 tower. Why do you have to worry about it?
How quick the Sand King... Oh, the Sand King's actually
Radiant's
scouted
bottom
out, so
tower
that's
is
big.
under attack. I feel sad for them.
Well, we do have
there's
TPs going top.
there's-
They're going to be chasing down
Radiant's bottom
Kefka.
tower has
Do
fallen.
they have enough for Lucid Beam? They do, but the Dragonite is far too quick. Kefka's away and safe.
And it's going to be the BKB coming out for the Dragonite, picking up the Ogre Club first, unless he's going for... Actually, could potentially go for a Heaven's Halberd. Getting that sand and then getting the evasion on top of that. Not only because this Drow is not planning on getting a BKB anytime soon, you can just disarm her and just be fine with that.
I should think the BKB will be her next item choice. That's what we've seen out of previous builds coming out of JB. A Heaven's Halberd would be good up until the point where a BKB is online. Heaven's Halberd is such a powerful item, and it's underrated in my mind. A 4-second disarm
the
is
last time we
really-
saw JB play Drow, he actually went Maelstrom after his blink.
Oh yes, it was the late game, the horrifically late game with the Blink Dagger Drow.
Yep, and which could have ended a whole lot sooner.
Indeed, indeed. But it is
I
Roshan
know
time
from
once
Roshan.
again. With that DD rune active, that's going to go down with no contest.
Oh,
The
This
Dire's
creep.
top tower is doing its best, but it doesn't look good.
It doesn't go into the pit, it doesn't reveal it. We do have the smoke coming in from the support. They're going to come in and ensure this Roshan. But that's a pretty big Ice Blast going to land.
yeah,
And
they
with
get the
that,
mechanism off first. That was quick. That was
in comes Sand King. This is done. JB, he's going to go down. Or is he? The Shallow Grave going to keep him alive for a few seconds. Piscad needs to get picked off before he can do any healing. Down goes the Sand King, but in comes Kangaskhan with that Eclipse. No damage done, though. The Morphling didn't really care. Filich will go down to Kefka in the meantime. Helvild will pick up the double. That was with the illusion from the Morphling.
Yep, and they can take this Roshan now, and that is really, really big for them.
Just the presence of mind to realise, yeah, they're going to be at Roshan again. Floxbox rotating in with that Vendetta. Does find and pick off Twilight's. Nice attempt at the Ice Blast, but oh no, it does clip Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan caught, and now comes the potential chase. Floxbox does have an Impale in 3 seconds. Does manage to reflect it with a Lucent. And now another stun comes out. Fishcard getting caught, but Floxbox will go down to a few more right clicks if he is not careful, and will do so.
That's not
Roshan
good.
needs to go down before JB can blink in and try to steal. But Kefka keeps getting stunned out. Morphling finds an Aegis of the Immortal. Now they're going to potentially find Piscad if he doesn't get out of there, but double TP away. Not going to walk uphill into JB's Drow. It's just slightly disappointing that Henki didn't find the kills that he wanted with that Epi. That Epi was beautiful, but he didn't catch the stun on Piscad's Dazzle, which meant the Shallow Grave went off. Otherwise, Drow would have been dead and he would still be standing in that fight. Item-wise, though, coming up for Kangaskhan, we do have that BKB. He's most likely going to be looking for that Satanic or a Butterfly as his next item choices. Down not for the Drow Ranger. She had that BKB. Now she's got 2,500 gold in the bank and hasn't bought any items. So we're going to be keeping an eye on her and see what she gets in the next minute. So,
I really do hope it is that BKB.
Indeed,
that
you and me
Madness,
both.
you just take so much extra damage. And so, currently, it's been Piscad saying her with some incredible Shallow Graves. Also, nice little Sentry Ward here, which is going to basically block this Ancients from being done again. Actually, Henki might be able to get a stun here.
Not while he's silenced out. He needed to blink sooner. As we get mass TPs come as the reaction from Lucid, they don't really want to risk JB getting picked off, and rightfully so. But item-wise coming up, we did have that mechanism finished for Piscad. Over on the Clockwork, we're looking for a 4-staff. He's only a mere 250 gold away from that. And finally, for Drow, we do have items being shipped out. On the Courier, we have that Maelstrom, so it's not going to be the BKB we both thought we would see. A very risky proposition when you're up against a Sand King like this. I think he's just lurking, looking for that opportunity. Do we have an epicenter? Yes, we do. In comes Village, but it doesn't catch Kefka. Now comes the epicenter wind up, doing terrible amounts of damage to Piscad. He's got to be careful. He's being forced away. There's no chance of that. Down goes the Vengeful Spirit. Down goes Henki in response, though. But now in comes the Eclipse. But Helvild doesn't really care. He's barely taking any damage. BKB is there. Not going to be enough, though. Right clicks coming through from Helvild is more than enough. Freedom just taking it to Lucid Lunatics, tooth and nail.
Tower doesn't even have arms to defend itself. What a brave tower.
Bottom tier 1 will be, in my mind, the next order of business after they get some more pressure on this mid lane. But what would interest me next is, what item do we see coming up on the Sand King? Do you reckon we're just going to see wards, and if he gets any items, upgrade his boots? Or do you think we could potentially see a Veil of Discord? Something that I think we've only seen once in the tournament so far, but is incredibly powerful as one rogue crit puts JB up another kill. Unstoppable spree for him now.
Also, the Maelstrom is picked up for JB.
We called that a minute ago.
Yeah.
Slightly
Wait, did we
forgetful
call
today,
it, or
aren't
did
we?
we predict it?
No, we called it.
Well, you called it then.
Fair enough. Well, JB's going to shred this tower. A couple of right clicks through from him is going to be more than enough to scrap this building. But we do have Henki potentially getting caught out of position. They need sentries or dust, and dust it is. Henki will go down once more. Clockwork finding a good hook.
They don't even need dust for the Sand King in Sandstorm, because the gust moves him up, like, it does disposition him, and it is going to be the Veil, as you do get the no talisman out for the Sand King.
Veil is one of the best mathematical items on Sand King. A lot of people build either a Ags or a Shivas, but mathematically, if you don't need the Shivas, it's always going to be, for me, as we see Floxbox getting initiated, it's always going to be a Veil of Discord. They need to go on JB, they need to stun him out and lock him down, but Village is going to put a beautiful cogs down, blocking the path. And Freedom cannot chase that. However, they may find Twilight if they're not careful. The Illusion Room will deter this, though.
Bottom tower is under attack.
But as we're at 22 minutes, let's take another look at the graphs, see how the game has
Radiant's bottom
changed.
tower has seen better days.
Experience earned is now back quite heavily. That's a really odd graph, but is 1,000 now in favour of the Lucid Lunatics. Gold-wise, though, gold-wise, we've got a 4k advantage starting to build up for Lucid. Freedom need to get on top of that Drow and stop her, because that's where the majority of this gold is. Net worth-wise, 11,000 on the Drow, 9.6k up on that Luna. 12k, however, is available for the Morphling. Morphling's items, he's gone for an Elementa.
Like, all these towers are down for the Radiant side, and there's only one tower down for the Dire. So they've got a 3,000 gold minimum of advantage of purely towers.
Which is always recoverable. Just being able to get a few towers of your own. And these towers, both top 255 HP and bot 391 HP, are very easily snipeable.
Yeah, the Morphling is likely just to take this bottom tier 1 right now.
And with this Midas Manta combo, he's going to be looking with that 3.6k potentially for that shotgun. And a shotgun on a Drow without a BKB.
With a Mask of Madness.
Indeed, it's going to get obliterated.
However, the Drow is very, very close to getting that BKB. The Drow does TP into the bottom lane, and they're not going to be able to...
Silence does go out on Helvild, but there's the Manta Star removing that pesky little silence. Now, what's going to interest me is how can Lucid Lunatics take this next fight. We've got Floxbox already getting in position, ready to Vendetta and start this fight. We also have 4 members of Lucid Lunatics rotating down to back up JB. However, here comes the smoke. They're going to rotate and look for that tower. Freedom are going to snipe the top one, leave the bottom one well enough alone. TPs were not used by those 4 that walked down, by the way, and they're just going to walk in and just take this tower from behind.
The Dire's top tower is doing its best.
1,000 gold reclaimed in favour of Freedom.
Dire's top
And
tower
that's
has
the BK,
fallen.
that's the
It
full
was only a
BKB up
matter
to
of
Kefka.
time.
Meanwhile, for Drow Ranger, we are sitting just about 300, 400 gold away from her own BKB. So this shotgun, which could come out from the Morphling, is not going to be completely, not going to be able to completely kill the Drow Ranger if she's able to get that BKB off in time.
On the topic of items, now, I predicted for Kangaskhan he'd either go for a butterfly or for a satanic, but we do see an ultimate orb picked up for Kangaskhan, so could we potentially be looking at a Skadi or a Manta? Manta would be my thought.
It's almost not. It's almost definitely not going to be a Skadi. It's definitely going to be a Manta.
And we did get Morphling pick off Drow Ranger, which I missed, unfortunately. Apologies.
Yep.
He
And
does
that's
have that shotgun finished.
Yep, that kill, that 800 gold spree did. Actually, to be honest, I think Morphling was 800 gold before that kill. So getting that shotgun directly off the back of Drow Ranger.
Oh, Drow
And it also
being worth
sets Drow Ranger.
853.
Yeah, just sets Drow Ranger back another 500 gold for finishing up her BKB.
We do have, again, 3 members of Freedom rotating down. They're going to look for this bottom tier one. With Drow dead, they potentially have an opening here, and they might even just walk in and forget the creeps and take it. Then again, we look around, and we've got Kangaskhan lurking quite close. He does have his BKB, but if he can stand in these fights against the right-click coming out of the Morphling and the DK, I don't know. Twilight is here, does have a drum of his own, but incredibly squishy, potentially shotgun food.
I think the shotgun has to go on from Piscat, 100%.
Taking the Dazzle out and stopping the Shallow Grave, indeed, I think that would be the wisest choice.
Yeah, if the Drow was able to get 5 seconds of uninterruptible damage, it would completely destroy
Dire's
them.
bottom tower was never my favorite.
And next time for Helville, would you think BKB, or would you look for just more agility and go Butterfly?
I really think it depends on how the next fight goes. If they win the next fight, or it goes in their favour, I think it could potentially just go straight into the Skadi. And because he wants more health, but he doesn't want to try and sacrifice his agility. So you try and just build, like get all of your strength via stats. So item like Skadi does give you a lot of health, just generically.
Indeed, another good option, Skadi. I completely disregarded that one. And we do have Dragonform popped out by Kefka. They're going to look to push this tier 2. Now, this fight is going to be quite a key one in this game. Whoever wins this one's going to be having a huge advantage. But with Dragontail starting out, Ice Blast Khan catching both carries. Twilight did swap out Kangaskhan just in time, and in comes the Eclipse. The Eclipse does bring down Helville, but Floxbox is going up against Village. Village, however, Dragontails gets out, and with Vendetta, is he going to turn around? No, Kefka's going to go into the trees and look to TP away, but the Lucian Beam will put an end to this, and the fight goes heavily in favour of the Lucid Lunatics.
Helville went head over heels trying to kill Piscat and wasn't even able to bring him
Dire's
down.
top tower is under attack. Oh,
Now,
that's
Flox
not
potentially looking for a consolation kill here with that Vendetta active. How long's he got left on it, though? That is the question. He's only got about 10 seconds, and he's just going to walk
Dire's
away.
top tower is under
In the
attack.
meantime, Lucid
And this is gonna
Lunatics
be
will
cheese.
find cheese on the Roshan. Now, Village has his 4-staff up, 1300 gold. He's going to look for an Aghanim 6, but in comes a long-range Ice Blast. Is that an Ags Ice Blast? That's the question. No, it isn't. He's
It's
still building
definitely
mech.
not.
So there's no risk of Village shattering. Kangaskhan does have himself the cheese, and the BKB, sorry, the Aegis of the Immortal will go towards JB on that Drow Ranger.
And 100 gold away from a Manta for Kangaskhan.
With the Helm of Iron Will up for Henki, we're going to be looking for a Veil of Discord very soon for him, which is 25% more magical vulnerability. That pretty much removes all base magic resistance. That's going to be a huge thing, especially if you can combine it up with the Ancient Apparitions, Freezing Fields, the Icy Vortex even.
And the Ethereal Blade.
And the Eth Blade, of course. So it potentially does
Veil of
open up
Discord
Henki
goes
for
up
massive
onto-
amount.
If they use the Discord on whoever they're going to shotgun, dead to rights.
Then again, we do have a smoke active, and we're looking for a potential team wipe here for Freedom. They couldn't find Kangaskhan, but he does manage to BKB up. He's going to be well enough away. But in comes Drow. JB is there. The silence comes down. They need to stun out JB, but they can't. JB picks off Henki, so there's going to be no epicenter in this fight. This is going to be huge, an advantage for Lucid Lunatics, as they're just picking down hero after hero. They've got 2 so far. Dust does go out, and does find Floxbox, and that's 3 kills for 0. Lucid finding the perfect fight, picking off the targets that needed the primary
Dire's bottom tower
focus
is under
fire,
attack.
mainly Henki. If Henki managed to get off his epi or get off a big burrow strike, that would have been a
By
completely
the
different
gods,
game.
the Dire's bottom tower doesn't even have arms to
And now
defend
Lucid
itself.
Lunatics will look
What
to
a
shatter the
brave
tier 2.
tower. The Radiant should really do something
The
about
problem
that
was,
middle tower.
is literally that they tried to
Radiant's
go on
middle
Heaven's
tower
Gone,
is
but
no more.
BKB was there, and they should have backed off, but they overcommitted. So the Burrow Strike and the Blink was down on Henki. Kefka was just already committed with that Dragon form.
Well, with Freedom, what are we going to be looking for him next? Potentially, I should think an AC. An AC would help out Freedom quite a lot.
Yeah, the problem is right now is that Kefka's is not going to get any farm. They need to give it. Most of it needs to be given to Hillveld.
And with the DK rotating through the jungle, they waste the hook shot, as well as the Eclipse on Illusion. That is a pretty big illusion. Of course, illusions coming out of a Morphling are notoriously more tanky than standard illusions, but that is a lot of ult waste.
Is they could see a DK in standard form. But the DK ult form doesn't last as long as they must have thought it did.
Raises the question with that just a jump of the gun. This could potentially be an opportunity for Freedom if they can find a good fight now. No Eclipse is a massive thing, and it's down for 99 seconds.
The thing is, they lost that last fight
The
without the
Radiant's
Eclipse
bottom
being
tower
used.
has seen better days.
This much is true. On the backside of this, though, we do have the, I believe it was Clockwork, picking up
Radiant's
the
bottom tower was
Hood of
always the
Defiance, so
weakest
we're going to
tower.
be looking for a Pipe of Insight out of him. And TP's up towards the top lane. Kangaskhan may be looking to defend this, but the members of Freedom all porting away. There's not going to be much to do here. Anderson's gone as well. The only one hanging around up here is Kefka, just looking for whatever farm he can. So farming the enemy's jungle. He's going to TP out as well. He doesn't want to risk this. Ward vision is something I'm going to bring up now. We've got 2 wards up for the Radiant side, for Freedom, covering the rune spot effectively up here, as well as their own jungle, considering how defensive they're playing. But take a look at the ward vision and the ward usage out of Lucid. They want to know if there's anything going on here. And around the Roche Pit, they had so much detection down. I mean, even in the jungle here, they're just taking control with sentry wards, really. And Phlox didn't opt for a blink bag. He opted for a Force Staff on that Nix's Assassin, which I find is a curious decision.
It's up against the Drow.
True, it's up against a Drow, and I suppose it's up against a Clock as well, so it's going to get him out of Cogs or something along that line, but in my mind, they should be the ones looking to start the fights, not let themselves get initiated on. They have a Sand King and a Nyx. These are 2 very powerful line stuns. Combine that with Waves Form's damage, the Shotgun Blast, and the Ice Blast as well. In my mind, it should be Freedom looking to start these fights and not get themselves picked off effectively. But then again, this is a Maelstrom... Sorry, this is a Molnir, BKB, Blink Dagger, Mask of Madness, Aegis Drow. Very scary thing to be up against. And if they don't find the initiation they're looking for, this can certainly go the wrong way. We did hear Vendetta activated. Do we have any detection available? Piscad doesn't have any sentries. Twilight only has 3 dust. So unless they get 6th Sense proc, it's going to be very difficult for them. But then again, we've got another ward coming up, giving more vision for Lucid Lunatics, and they're just going to look to continue this as in comes the siege potentially on the tier 3 blinking away. Just try to bait out a little bit of movement from Freedom.
Homing in.
We have potentially a Aghanim Scepter coming up for the Dazzle. I believe increases the armor reduction and the range of the spell. Now, up for Kangaskhan, we do have that full Manta style, and from here on we're looking for most likely a Satanic in my mind. He should be considering survivability a little more than damage at this point. We do have that full Pipe of Insight coming up for Fillich in a very short amount of time. But Twilight, he's going to be looking for most likely a BKB or an Axe of his own. I should think potentially the Ags due to the ability to take Nether Swap's cooldown down to 10 seconds. Quite a large factor in teamfights. But for the flip side of this coin, Aghanim's coming up for the side of Freedom. We don't have one coming up on the AA, which is probably one of the best Aghanims in the game. We still don't have Diviler Discord on Henki. And it just seems that Freedom, no matter the good start they have just started to peter off.
Yeah, I'm going into that ridiculously long game like they do like to do with their Luna and Drow. So, JB does have 4,400 gold up on him. Really can go into anything that he wants right now. Going to have the Aghanims coming up for Piscad on the Dazzle, so going to get that increase armor reduction and buff onto all heroes. And Helvin needs to be careful right now.
He's going to go Scepter up with the F-Blade to try to survive, but Village will go down. Anderson, however, is a counter kill.
The replica out.
We hardly knew you. Just as well.
And they will manage to escape with only the one death. That Clockwork for an AA without an AG, so it seems to me like it's a really good engagement there for the Lucid Lunatics. Not for Lucid, it's for Freedom even.
Also, it's going to be in probably a Heaven's Halberd coming up for Kefka here.
The evasion will keep him alive that little bit longer, but it just raises the question, do we see an MKB being the potential next item for JB's Drow if he goes for travels? MKB is a pretty damn good item in this game with the threat of a Heaven's Halberd coming up. We do have a gem picked up for Piscad as well, so there'll be no more assassin games from the Knicks. JB will just continue to farm up. He's up at 6,000 gold. MKB, Butterfly, both of these are options right now. The Ice Blast being thrown again just to scout out the Roshan. They don't really want to risk a fourth Roshan and a second cheese going the way of Lucid. But Freedom have to play very carefully right now. You have a 4-man smoke gang starting to rotate around the map, as well as a Helvild in the jungle. Going to continue farming up. He does have a ultimate orb, so we're looking for potentially a Skadi for him.
Smoke coming out from Freedom. And they're looking for someone trying to farm up the Dire Jungle, but there's just no one in here. There's farming up the Ancients, and Helvin needs to be careful. Let's send out that one illusion, see if they can... And that's going to be obvious.
He's well enough away. He's not even going to risk that. But the smoke is timing out, and Freedom for their time got nothing. Quite a large time investment scouting through the jungle and not getting any kind of kill or any consolation for their investment. But it could be a potential push for the tier 2 tower on the top lane right now.
They can't do it really, because they need to come back and protect their high ground. The Veil is up now for the Sand King.
That, in my mind, is going to be one of the big items going into this next fight. The only thing they need to worry about is the fact that there is potentially a pipe coming up soon for Village. He's still about 600 gold away, so he's got nothing to worry about for this next fight. But it's still something to keep in mind. Anderson, in the meantime,
available to be picked up by Helvild.
Say again?
Guardi is actually available to be picked up by Helvild.
I should think he's looking to keep buyback
definitely
gold.
for buyback.
Yeah. Now, the one concerning thing I have for Freedom is they're still lacking a mechanism. That mechanism still isn't finished up on Anderson.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
Mortality.
And there's the Travels to Drow, so it's potentially going to be an MKB next with that pickup of the Demon Edge. But not going to be able to carry it when you're holding an Aegis.
But it doesn't look
Demon
good.
Edge going back towards the Fountain for now, and in the meantime we do have Floxbox rotating towards that top lane. Has an illusion chasing him though,
Dire's top
and
tower
that's
is
for
under
morphing in
attack.
case they find something useful. Not a wise one. Not a wise engagement there, considering if Dazzle comes up here, Dazzle does have that quite nasty Gem of True
Dire's
Sight.
top tower is under attack. Oh,
And he is lurking
that's got to
nearby.
hurt.
I don't think
Also,
they know
it's a
about the
BKB.
gem yet either.
There's BKB coming up for Twillis.
Shadow wave.
BKB up on the VS is just going to cause more problems for Freedom, not being able to nuke down Twillis in these fights. Then again, the as we were saying, shotgun should probably be saved for Piscad. Then again, for Kangaskhan, we do now have a butterfly as well. So now we're looking for the last item being potentially that satanic.
Also, the real reason I think they're going for the BKB onto the Vengeful is just keep alive and provide that aura.
Well, we're going to get a clash at the tier 3, it seems.
I think it's nearly a 60 damage bonus having the Vengeful aura next. Yeah, it's actually about 60-65 damage onto the Vengeful, onto the Drow Ranger.
They go for the shotgun blast on JB, but it's not enough. It takes him to about a third remaining health. But with a mech and a dazzle, not going down below that. Pipe of Insight's now complete as well for Filich on the Clockwork, which is going to cause problems for the Sand King of Enki.
Also, the courier is going up to try and pick up the Skadi for Hellbuild.
Skadi may give them a fighting chance against the attacks becoming out of JB, but look at the damage going into the racks, forcing the fortification. Stuns come out onto Kangaskhan, but they need a good initiation. They need an epicenter. And swap goes out, but Blink Dagger and stun in from Henki, who's going to go down before he gets his epi off. Good presence of mind to try to blink away, but doesn't get far enough back into the base after the swap. And now a set of racks down. This is not looking good for Freedom, as Lucid Lunatics are just continuing their potential siege. And in comes the Frost Dragon, but immediately getting hook shot from Filich. In comes Eclipse as well. Not going to be anywhere near enough. And Anderson plus Floxbox can only fall back. Buyback used now by Kefka to get back into this fight. But at this point, BKB forced by Kangaskhan. He's not going to be able to get anything. And now JB's in with the Frost Arrows and the Silence, doing terrible amounts of damage to Kefka. And Kefka may even go down here. But a Rogue Glaive does finish off the Ancient Apparition. And now we're looking for a rotation for the top tier 3, the final tier 3 of the game. Skadi is finished for the Morphling, but in my mind it's too little, too late, as the final set of racks is going to be sieged upon. And they're just going to walk into the fight and try to bring down what they can. They used the shotgun onto JB. They didn't try to bring down the Dazzle, but now he goes he was already dead in that fight, never mind. As the Luna goes down, now they're looking for the good follow-up. The shotgun is enough to finish off the Clockwork. Can they find JB? They need to bring down JB, but he's far too quick. Twilight is trying to fall back as well. The Sand King did get a good epi in that fight, even the Veil of Discord, and Twilight will go down by the looks of things. No shotgun there to follow up. JB does pick up a counter kill, and now JB will finally take a fall, but there is an Aegis. This is not really what Lucid Lunatics were expecting, but in comes the Blink Dagger, looking to finish off the Nyx.
Should really do something about that middle tower.
That was a 3 for 4 trade, I want to say, considering the buyback from Kefka. Very rough turn of events there for Freedom. 2 racks down now, very hard hill to climb. And now JB coming in with that Mask Command is looking to potentially finish off the set of racks, but forced to blink away when he notices Kefka being quite close. And now has a Daedalus as well up on that Drow Ranger. Quite the worrying thing. Didn't opt for that MKB. Then again, the Heaven's Halberd still is not online for Kefka. Very, very steep hill to climb. With a Satanic now available for Luna, in my mind it's all over but for the crying.
Yeah, there really is. It's Lucid Lunatics' game to throw. All they have to do is do one concerted effort just to take this final top racks, and then if they really wanted to, they could stall out for another 20 minutes, just getting like rapiers and everyone.
And Kefka will just go down to the crits. JB's crit is too much. And just look, he's raining down death. He's not even moving. Anyone that comes close just gets crit, and Kefka calls GG.
Yep.
Lucid Lunatics take the win, and I gotta say, well played by Freedom, but they just couldn't transition into the mid-game from the early game. They had the advantage with that really early Blink Dagger on the Sand King, and they just could not make it pay off.
No, they really didn't make as much as they wanted to make with that. I think if Lucid Lunatics hadn't decided to go for that Roshan, I think they actually could have taken a lot more from that point of view, from that stance, because Henki would have been able to use a Epi Blink onto the Drow Ranger, and maybe Kefka would have got further ahead, but what happened is they decided to go for that Roshan, they took the Roshan, and then JB was quite safe. So I really think it comes down to just that choice to take that.
The other thing for Freedom is Anderson really did not have a fun game. He had a really, really rough game. He only ended with a mechanism in arcades, and he was trying to make that mechanism for about 30 minutes in the game. He was just being focused down and just becoming a null factor.
All of the gold really just came down to, and they were focusing onto the sanking, and really, sanking even got more than the Nyx Assassin.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that was game 1 for you for the evening. We do have another game for you in 1 hour's time at 9 p.m. CET, 8 p.m. GMT. We will be bringing you, I believe, Morning Complete up against the Turtle Masters. That should be an interesting game to watch. I have my expectations for the draft, but I shall be keeping those until then. Any other thoughts on that game before we head off, Duke?
No, not really. It's going to be an interesting game.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see you in an hour's time. Sit back and enjoy. I'm going to put the music up. We'll see you then.